Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. This is a National Cemeteries edition. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana at Crown Hill National Cemetery, which is located within Crown Hill Cemetery. It is, I believe it's the largest cemetery in Indianapolis. I mean, or if not, it's one of the largest because, yes, it's very huge. But this is not a small section, but like kind of a piece of it, of the cemetery. And it talks about all the nation's heroes. There's a historical marker that tells all about Crown Hill National Cemetery, and I'll show you a few others. So here we go. As they're coming from the southeast entrance of Crown Hill Cemetery, how to get here is just keep following the white line, which leads you to the graves of James Whitcomb Riley and former President Benjamin Harrison. But until you see that chapel, just go ahead and park, and then just easy access to the cemetery. Placed by the Morton chapter Daughters of the Union. Here's the final resting place for Oliver Morton. Down here, as well as his wife, Lucinda. See what it says on here. He loved his country's good with a respect more tender, more holy and profound than his own life. And then, like most national cemeteries, they have a plaque that has the Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. And then this just talks about the national cemetery system. This is found at most, if not all, national cemeteries. And then for the first time I've ever seen something like this. This talks about an act to establish and to protect national cemeteries, approved February 22nd, 1867, Section 3. If you want to pause and read that, go ahead. Hopefully the writing is not too small. And here is a historical marker about the Crown Hill National Cemetery. Tells some history about it. So starting with Civil War in Indianapolis. Indiana Governor Oliver Morton responded quickly to President Abraham Lincoln's 1861 call for 75,000 volunteers to help suppress the Southern Rebellion. Thousands of Hoosiers assembled in Indianapolis. Camp Morton, named for the governor, was established at the old fairgrounds. Indiana troops served in every theater of action. As the war progressed, Camp Morton became a prisoner of war camp, housing thousands of Confederates. City Hospital treated both Confederate prisoners and Union soldiers. Citizens of Indianapolis celebrated when the Confederate capital at Richmond, Virginia fell on April 3, 1865, and when Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered on April 9th. Despair replaced joy when Lincoln was assassinated 6 days later. The president's body lay in state for 18 hours at the Indianapolis Capitol building on April 30th. Here is a photo of the City Hospital in Indianapolis, also known as the Military Hospital. This was circa 1908. More than 700 Union soldiers who died in city hospitals were originally buried in Green Lawn Cemetery. In November 1866, the federal government hired local undertaker William Weaver to supervise removal of the dead. Weaver's men relocated the remains of 712 soldiers from Green Lawn to the cemetery. All but 36 were identified. The new National Cemetery occupied 1.4 acres, now Section 10 within Crown Hill Cemetery. The government paid $5,000 for the lot. On May 30th, 1868, the first Decoration Day or Memorial Day observance at Crown Hill National Cemetery was held. Some 1,000 people participated in a program that featured speeches, music, and decorating graves. The U.S. Army installed 2 gun monuments and a flagstaff in the early 1870s, and plaques featuring stanzas from the poem in the 1880s. In 2011, land adjacent to the National Cemetery that contains many Civil War dead, or Section 9, was donated to the federal government. Combined, these 2.5 acres hold the graves of 2,043 veterans and their dependents. And then here's the west entrance. And then here is just a map of the original layout of the National Cemetery in 1893. This one talks about the Women's Relief Corps Monument. Auxiliary of the Major Robert Anderson Post, number 369, Green Army of the Republic, received permission to erect a monument here in November 1888. Local stonecutter James F. Needler produced the eagle-topped limestone pedestal. It was dedicated on Memorial Day, 1889. And we'll be seeing that too along this way. In fact, there it is right over there. Going to get up close to it. Pretty much says the same stuff as it did on the marker. May 30th, 1889. This was dedicated. I know the sun's really bright. It's early morning here in Indianapolis. In memory of the unknown dead who fell in our country's service in the war for the Union, 1861-1865. No name to bid us know who rests below. No word of death or birth. Only the grasses wave over a mound of earth, over a nameless grave. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Indianapolis, Indiana, at Crown Hill National Cemetery. I hope you find the time to explore up here, as this is a great way of remembering our nation's heroes. The ones, some gave all gave some.